From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much. Unbelievable. Can you believe how many people look behind the fake news? Can you believe how many people are back there? I wish they'd turn their cameras. You want to turn the cameras around, show? That is a lot of people here today. You know, they never report that. They won't report it. There are thousands of people behind these people. Why do you give them the good location for? Got to talk to our people about that. Why are we giving the media the good location? Anyway, thank you very much, and thank you to Florida. We love Florida. And it's great to be back in this magnificent state. You know, I live here too, you know that, right? With thousands of loyal, hardworking, great American patriots. So, 18 days, can you believe it? 18. Think of that, 18. Like around 4 years ago, I'll never forget, January 20th, I stood up in the great White House. First night, First Lady. I stood right next to the Lincoln bedroom and I said, can you believe this? And now 4 years goes by. It goes by so quickly, doesn't it? But no administration has done in 3.5 years, no administration has done even close to what this administration has done. None. And that's despite phony witch hunts, phony impeachments, all of the things. And it ended up that they did it. Can you believe that? They did it. But we've done a job, and you've done a job, and we're working together, and we love you all, and we love this state, and thank you very much. Thank you very much. And by the way, we're leading in Florida. You know we're leading in Florida. Right? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, we're leading in the state of Florida. How would it be if we didn't have the Russia witch hunt and all this nonsense that they threw at us for almost 4 years with the spying and all the things? How would it be? They wouldn't even have an election. We'd just say, okay, we'll take it for another 4 years, right? But now we're doing great. And 18 days from now, we're going to win the state of Florida. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And early voting starts on Monday. We're going to have a red wave, it's called, the red wave. So get out and vote. No, they're calling it a red, these people, look at all those cameras. These people, they're calling it a red wave. They expect there may be, not forget about the word may. They said there may be a big red wave. We will have a red wave, the likes of which they've never seen before, and that includes 4 years ago. Joe Biden he's a disaster, let's face it. But did you see last night? Did you see the easy questions? Now, did you watch that whole deal? Did you see him a week ago with Lester Holt on NBC? Like, come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Can we help you with the answer, Joe? It's a disgrace. And you saw what I got last night, right? But it's okay. She's like disappeared. Nobody can find her. She's not too popular right now. But we enjoyed it, you know. We enjoyed it. You know, we don't say, give us the questions, give us the answers. We wanted this. We don't want to read it off teleprompters. We don't want to do that. And we know what we got, and people really expect it. And by the way, if you can't handle Savannah, you cannot handle Putin and President Xi and Kim Jong-un. That's small potatoes last night. That's small potatoes. But it does seem unfair when you have a guy that's constantly getting questions like you're talking to a child, right? Like you're talking to a child. They say, what's this? And then you get like, boom, boom, what about this? What about that? What about this? Now, but that's why we're here, right? You know the expression? You know the expression? They come after us from every angle. They're after us. And we're here, and they're not. So it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. And we appreciate this great support, but Biden is the living embodiment of the corrupt political class and you take a look at what he's done. It's a political class that enriched itself while draining the economic life and soul from our country. Look at what's happened. And now you see it. And you see it better than ever before. And with all of the things that you know took place, not one question was asked of this guy last night about that. Can you even believe it? It's the biggest story worldwide. It's a corrupt family. And these people didn't ask him one single question about it. It's incredible. No, it's true. Yeah, lock it. It's true. I like this guy. Look at this. Will you stand up, please? Look at this guy. That's pretty good, huh? That's pretty good. Thank you, man. That's cool. That's great. Thank you. That's cool. For the last 47 years, Joe Biden has shipped away your jobs, shut down your factories, threw open your borders, and ravaged our cities while sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars in countries that you've never even heard of. And they're all coming back. You know that. They're all coming back. Except in certain areas, if you don't mind, where we kept the oil. We left some of our great soldiers. We kept the oil. We should have kept the oil in plenty of places when we went over there. We should have never been there. But if we're going to be there, remember I used to say for years, keep the oil. We didn't do that. He's a servant of the wealthy donors and globalists and special interests who got rich, bleeding our country dry. They sold you out, and I know this area very well, and you got sold out big. This whole state got sold out. Every state did. They sold you out on trade, on borders, on jobs, on crime. One act of treachery after another. In 2016, Florida voted to fire this corrupt and look, this is the most corrupt group of people, okay? I've gotten, and you know, when I say drain the swamp, I used to think it was like a swamp this thick. It's like real thick. It's very thick. So Florida voted to fire the corrupt and decrepit political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president, and we finally put America first. About time. It's only been about 30 years. This week we learned from newly released emails that Joe Biden has been blatantly lying about his involvement in his son's corrupt business dealings, the highest level. Yesterday, a news story showed that Hunter made a deal with a wealthy Chinese business magnate for $10 million a year for introductions alone. He just wanted $10 million, introductions. He's going to introduce. This is a guy that got thrown out of the military, had no job. As soon as his father became vice president, he became a vacuum cleaner for the family, okay? Hunter also referred to another more lasting and lucrative arrangement, as he called it, with the same Chinese businessman that would be so much more interesting to me and my family, his father, okay? His father. These deals were made after Biden spent his entire career letting China steal our jobs and raid our factories. And let me tell you something, if he ever won, China will own the United States, okay? They will own it. What's happening to China now, nobody's ever seen that. Nobody ever thought it was possible. We've done so much better than them until they sent us the plague. And now we're coming back from the plague. We could have lost 2.2 million people and more. And we lost much. We lost over 200,000 people. We shouldn't have lost a person. What they did to us, we will never forget. Just remember that. We will never forget. But this is all a matter of national security. The Bidens got rich while America got robbed. And you know, I say it, and I sort of said it very timidly initially, and now you see this, they got the guy's laptop, they've got thousands of things. I mean, they're going through it. And I give great credit to the New York Post, for what they did. The New York Post. I don't know how many of you read the New York Post, but it's the oldest paper in the United States. I think it's like the 5th largest paper. It really is. You know, you talk about mainstream media. They went out and they did what these people should have been doing. These people do nothing. But I said it very timidly, and now I say it. Joe Biden is a corrupt politician, and he has been for a long time. And the Biden family is a criminal enterprise, and you know it, and so do I. In fact, they sort of make crooked Hillary Clinton look like amateur hour. You think about it. Yet all of this is being covered up by the media and big tech. You saw that? You see that? You put a story out from the New York Post, and they shut down a site. How about Kayleigh? Her site got shut down because she put out a story from the New York Post. This is what's going on. So they talk about freedom of speech and freedom of the press. There's no freedom of the press. But watch what we do. But the biggest thing we can do, November 3rd. That's the biggest thing we can do. Because I'm not just running against Biden. We're not just running against Joe Biden. We're running against the left-wing media, and we're running against big tech. And they all said, and I've heard this, and I kept hearing about the power of big tech, the power. And they were against us, as you know, 4 years ago. But I won. I said, how can they be powerful? I won. I never did this before, and I won. How the hell are they powerful? But now they've gone totally crazy. They've done things now that they wouldn't even do, and they got caught. And there's great anger in Congress, in the Senate. There's great anger because what they're doing is really bad. You know, we gave them Section 230. It's protection. It protects them from everything. It shields them. So once you do that, the government is giving them something that no other industry has. So they no longer can say, oh, freedom of speech. It's not freedom of speech. They've been given protection, and they've abused that protection. And a lot of people are looking now at big bad tech. But I did say it. I said, so they're so powerful, how did we win? Well, we won for a lot of reasons. By the way, was that the greatest evening? Was that the greatest? But we're going to have an even bigger evening and an even better evening on November 3rd. Despite the fact that they're trying to get forever to count the ballots, you know, the ballots, right? The fake ballots. They're doing everything in their power to protect their chosen candidate, Sleepy Joe, and he is a sleepy guy. I watched last night. Did anybody watch last night? You watched both of them, right? Yeah, but I just want to see, like, how's he doing? Not well. And remember this, they have nothing but to stand. He's just a vehicle. Let's not kid ourselves. Joe is shot, okay? He's shot. He is a vehicle, and he's got his vice president, who is further left than Crazy Bernie, okay? Kamala. Nobody treated Joe Biden worse than Kamala during the debates, right? Now, she got beat up by other people. She got beat up badly. So badly that her polls dropped, and she went out very angry. And then he picked her. I said, this could be a very good thing. And then Mike Pence did a great job the other night, didn't he? Right? Did a great job. Hey, man. So I have nothing but disdain for what these people have done, and they have nothing but disdain for your values, and you know that. They flood your communities with criminal aliens, drugs, crime, while living behind gated compounds. They oppose school choice while sending their families to the best private schools. They demonize the police while hiring private security. By the way, take a look at the way Joe Biden lives. You know, he's been in Congress, I guess, for almost 50 years. I say 47, but the 47 is getting a little old now, right? Almost 50 years, and he's got houses, and he lives beautifully. You know, it's okay if you work and you get out it beautiful, but this guy's been a politician. A little strange, isn't it, huh? A little strange. They say he lives very well. They attack the Second Amendment while employing armed guards. They come against you with the guns. They want to take your guns away. You know, if I'm not here, I'm the only thing standing between you and your Second Amendment. That I can tell you. They support crippling lockdowns while their jobs remain totally exempt from being locked down. How about your governor in Michigan? She has that place locked down. We just won the court case, though. No, the courts just ruled it unconstitutional what she's doing. The only one that was allowed to enjoy himself happened to be her husband, right? He was going to go boating and have a good time while everyone else was locked down. Somebody caught him. Who the hell caught him? That was a great thing, right? You know? And then we caught some people doing whatever. We'll find out what that was all about. And then she said it was my fault. It was my people that caught them. It was Trump's fault. It's always Trump's fault. Can it ever be like Rick Gates' fault? I mean, it's always Trump's fault, Rick. By the way, how did the governor do? Did he get up and make a great speech? Good governor. Good guy, too, right over here. A lot of good people here. It's time we send a message to these shameless, wealthy, liberal hypocrites in Washington, D.C. and Silicon Valley. Do you see that Silicon Valley and these guys are 99% behind the Democrats, okay? What's that all about? What's that all about? They're 99, not even 90. I'd like to say 90, right? 99. Well, one of the reasons I don't call them, and I don't need their money, and I don't want their money, you know, that helps. It really helps. Let me tell you, if I called them and say, do me a favor, send money, every one of them would send money. I don't like making those calls. Because when you make those calls, it's hard to say no. Just on a human basis, it's very hard to say no. They call and they ask for a little thing like how to make an extra $5 billion. I don't make those calls. You know, you read where they have a lot of money flowing in. That's because everyone's calling everybody. We're going to win, and when we win, this is this, and this is... That's why they raise money. I could raise much more money. President, every call I make, every single guy, even if they hated me, they'd all contribute. But, Rick, you understand it. I don't want to make those calls. I don't want to make those calls, right? Huh? Yeah, I know. Where is Rick? He's here. Where is Rick? Where is Rick? Oh, you're there. Good. So I just want to thank everybody, and we do have some special people. Matt, stand up. Come here. I want to just tell something. This guy, Matt Gaetz. So Matt's been another one of our stars. We're going to introduce some of our congressmen and women later, but he's done some special job. How are we doing in Florida, Matt? Huh? Good? So, you know, the polls came out today, and they're very good. They don't report them. They don't report them. They do report them if they were bad, but we're not going to have any bad. We're going to have a big day. Make sure you work very hard, Matt, and I'll see you in a second. On Election Day, you can send a message that the fake news media and the big tech censors, because that's what they are, the big censors, and we're going to send them back. We're going to clean out the Washington swamp. I never knew it was this deep, but we're cleaning out the Washington swamp. We're going to show them the American people are in charge by delivering Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, a thundering defeat like they haven't seen before. Like they haven't seen before. If I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. Sorry. And if I don't always play by the rules of the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you harder than anyone has ever fought before. This is the most important election in the history of our country. And, you know, I used to say it all the time. I'd say, well, this is important, but the last. And I'm sort of like debating which is more important. Which is more important? Rick Grinnell, tell me which is more important, Rick. Rick Grinnell, by the way, has done a great job. You know who he is? You know him? What a great job he's done. He's coming with us, I'll tell you that. But nobody's done the job that we've done. Nobody's done the job that we've done, and we've done it with all that opposition. Biden has made a corrupt bargain exchange for his party's nomination, and he shouldn't have the nomination. I said this before. Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, should have gracefully, she was defeated. She shouldn't have stayed Super Tuesday. If she didn't stay if she would have left, she didn't even have to endorse anybody. If she would have left, Crazy Bernie, 100% would have gotten, because he would have gotten most of her votes. He only needed a few. It was really amazing. And he would have had, this guy is the greatest loser of all time. There's no better loser. He's so nice about it. It happened to him twice now, right? So she stayed, Biden got it, so we have a little bigger base, but he's got a base with zero enthusiasm, zero. The only enthusiasm they have is to beat us. And you know what? That's called negative enthusiasm. Typically, it never wins. We'll find out. It better not win, okay? It better not win, Matt. Biden has handed control to the socialists, Marxists, and far-left lunatics. If he wins, the radical left will be running this country, and they're addicted to power, and God help us if they ever get it, because we will never have the same country again. We never will. We never will. You know, I used to talk about Venezuela. Boy, that is an amazing amount of people back there. That's an amazing amount of people. Turn the camera. Can you show the group of people? That is unbelievable. That goes back a long way. That's unbelievable. Thank you. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I wish we had the cameras pushed back further. I wish the cameras were in the back. Thank you. Thank you very much. Why don't you drive them crazy? Just say 12 more years, right? 12. They want to punish the middle class. expand every last trace of traditional values, and replace the American dream with the socialist nightmare. And that's what it's going to be. You take a look at what's happened with some of these countries, and look at Venezuela. 18 years ago, 17 years ago, it was one of the richest countries, incredible, tremendous wealth, tremendous natural resources. Now they don't have water, they don't have food, they don't have medicine. We get them whatever we can. But we're working hard. Watch what happens with Venezuela. Watch what happens with Cuba. Watch what happens with plenty of places that are in trouble, because we have to do that. We have to take care of people. But look at what's happened to Venezuela. And don't kid yourself. I used to say, well, that could never happen. When you look at the ideology that we're talking about now, it's the exact same ideology. It's the exact same ideology. But it's never going to happen to us, because we're going to have a big victory over the next 18 days. They want to turn America into a communist country or a socialist country. You know, it didn't used to be I'd use the word communist, but now we talk about our country will never be a socialist nation. And now we have to say a socialist or a communist nation, because that's the next step. We're not going to let it happen and ruin the lives of Hispanic Americans and all Americans. We're not letting it happen. We're going to have a big victory. And that'll be the end of it. Because you know what? One more defeat and they're going to accept it. You know, I talk about unity. Somebody asked me a question recently about unity. When do you think the country will come together? It was coming together. I was getting calls from politicians that nobody would have thought on the other side. And they were saying, I think it's time. I think it's time. We had the greatest employment numbers in history. We're up to 160 million people. We had the greatest numbers, Hispanic American, African American, Asian American, women. We had the greatest numbers. Young people with a diploma from high school, without a high school diploma, with a PhD from MIT. Every single group was having the best numbers. We had the greatest economic recovery. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. And then we got hit by the plague from China. But I'll tell you, and then we saved millions of lives, and we're rebuilding at a level that nobody can even believe. But we were coming together. And I told the person, I said, the thing that's going to bring our country together is success. And it was happening. And until that artificial, horrible situation came in, it was happening. It was happening like never before. And had that not happened, you would have seen great unity. And by the way, the last administration had no unity. Look at St. Louis. Look at Henderson. Look at Ferguson. Look at all of the different, look at Oakland. Look at Baltimore. Look at the things that were happening. People forget. It was a mess. It was a total mess. And then you look at H1N1 that Biden always calls N1H1. I said, no, Joe. Don't do it, Joe. He always can't do it. He can't do it. Did you see last night he had to take out the piece of paper, 200 billion. It's not that big a deal to 200. Let's see. I'm not allowed to take out paper, right? Am I allowed to take out and start reading them to you? Pretty amazing, huh? Pretty amazing. He rips out that paper. You know why he does that? Because it's not working quite too well. Joe Biden and the Democrat socialists will kill your jobs, dismantle your police departments, dissolve your borders. By the way, our border now is the strongest it's ever been, 400 miles of wall. And Mexico is paying for the wall, by the way. They like to say Mexico's not. You know, we get the wall. We're up to almost 400 million. It's almost complete. It'll be complete very soon. And really, that's why we have such good numbers now, the wall. You know, they used to say, we don't want a wall, we want drones. Oh, that's great. You can watch people pour into our country. Right? But we got the wall done. And I'll tell you, and Matt and these guys, they really helped a lot. They were warriors. They helped a lot. That was not easy. That was not easy. And Ron, that's right, we forgot. Ron was a congressman. You know, he came to me and said, sir, I'd like to run for governor. I said, well, I could, you know, understand that, but you got a long way to go. And he said, no, I'd like your endorsement if we have your endorsement. I said, look, Ron, let's think about it. Anyway, you know, he's a great guy. Harvard, Yale, smart. I said, all right, Ron, I'm going to endorse you. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Boom, I pressed it. He went from 3 to 71 in one day. And then he had an impossible person to beat. You know this guy? How's he doing, by the way? How's his opponent doing? He was going to be the future of the Democrat Party, his opponent. I don't think he's doing too well, right? No, not doing too well. Watch, they'll resurrect him. The fake news will say, it's incredible what's happened. He's wonderful. Nah, if he were a Republican, they wouldn't be doing it, but that's okay. But Ron's been a great governor. It was an honor to be with him and endorse him. He's done a fantastic job. The only one better is his great first lady. I like her even better than Ron. But they'll release criminal aliens, raise your taxes, confiscate your guns 100%, destroy your suburbs. They talk about suburban women. Do they like Donald Trump? Yeah, they like Donald Trump. You know why? Because they want safety and security, right? They want safety and security. And they don't want low-income housing built next to their beautiful suburban dream. No, we got rid of it. You know, they had a regulation, all the women standing up over there, they had a regulation that would have destroyed our suburbs. It would have destroyed our American dream. And they came to me, Ben Carson, a lot of good people. They said, sir, it's very tough to terminate it, but why don't we just amend it? I said, I don't want to amend it. What does amend it mean? Make it a little bit better for us, or a little bit? I said, I don't want it amended. I want that regulation terminated. And they terminated the regulation, and nobody can believe it. And they want to drive God from the public square. To defend our Constitution from this madness, I proudly nominated Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the United States Supreme Court. No, don't worry, we'll fill that seat. She's done fantastically well. People can't even believe it. What a breath of fresh air, right? Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? She's fantastic. You know what got me? Her professor, one of her professors, longtime professor, very highly respected all over the legal world, had many, many, many years of students. He said, the single greatest student he's ever had was Amy. And that was pretty good. You know, that meant something to me, right? That meant something to me. It is nice. You know, you're not allowed to discriminate, but I do like smart people on the Supreme Court. Right? Now, Biden wants many people on the Supreme Court. He doesn't want to say, he said, I'll tell you after the election. What they want to do to the court will be a disaster. And by the way, you know, I put out a list of people. It's probably one of the reasons I got elected, but now we increased it by 20 great people that believe in a thing called the Constitution of the United States. But I put out a list so that when we choose, I said I will only take somebody from that list. And they're incredible scholars and great at what they do. I said, Biden has to do that. Not just about packing. Is he going to pack? Got to know, who is he going to appoint? Because, you know, the AOCs of the world, AOC plus 3, the AOCs of the world, Omar, I think we're going to win. You know what? I think we're going to win Minnesota because of Omar. Think of it. She hates our country. She hates our country. She comes from a place that doesn't even have a government. And then she comes here. She tells us how to run our country. And she hates our country. And we're going to win Minnesota. First time since 1972. You imagine? Hasn't been won by a Republican, but we're doing very well there. Thank you very much, Omar. Ilhan Omar. Thank you very much. She's a wonderful person. Now, we got people, it's not even thinkable. You know, it used to be that Congress, they loved Israel. Today, it's almost like the opposite. It's crazy. What they've done to Israel is incredible. Not the Senate, in all fairness, but if you look at the House with Pelosi and these people, it's like they hate Israel. and they believe in Omar, who came in here, married her brother or something, and came in illegally. Come on, Justice. Let's go, Justice. Department of Justice. Democrats will pack the court with radical left judges who will shred our Second Amendment, empower violent mobs, and protect terrorists and criminals. You know that. Biden's agenda would be a catastrophe for Florida seniors. Do we have any seniors in the room? No, I'm not a senior. Okay. I'm not a senior. Yes, I am. Especially for everyone from, I love the place, the Villages. I love the Villages. I love the Villages. They fight for us. I read stories every day. They're out there. They're driving those beautiful golf carts, the nicest golf carts ever made. They got golf carts that are better than your car. We love the Villages, and we're with them all the way, too. They've got spirit. They've got heart. For years, Biden tried to cut your Social Security, you know that, and your Medicare. Now Biden's pledging mass amnesty and free health care for illegal. Look, he's got the illegal immigrants coming in, and we all have heart, and we all want to take care of everybody. But when you say you can have free health care, you can have free education, you can have free... Millions of people are going to flood our country. We're not going to have a country left. So you just can't do it. All it is a magnet. Please come in. So we're sorry, but we will decimate Medicare and destroy your Social Security and destroy your country. While I'm president, no one will touch your Medicare or your Social Security. To reduce the price of prescription drugs, as you probably have heard, and it's not pleasant for me, I have taken on a thing called Big Pharma. They have unlimited money and, in a sense, unlimited power. They're the biggest lobbyist in the world. They spend more money than anybody else, I think, by far. Perhaps the lawyers spend more money. But Big Pharma, I signed the most favored nations rule, which nobody can believe. Because, you know, last year, we're the only administration in 51 years that brought down the cost of prescription drugs. Do you know that? But not much. 1%. I'm not proud of that. 1%, but at least it's something. But the big deal is other countries are paying a tiny fraction of what we pay for the same exact drug. The same pill, 10 cents versus $2.50. And we pay by far more than anybody, and it's us, because they view us as suckers. So I said to Big Pharma, you're going to either do these things and get rid of the middlemen and all of the things that we do. You know, I'll bet you Hunter Biden is a middleman. You know that? I'm just... Right? I'm just thinking. Now, I don't know. You know, the middleman with drugs, the middleman, it's called the middleman. They never say the middleman or woman. They're not politically correct. They don't care. They make so much money. These are the richest people. I don't even know who the hell they are. I'll bet you that Hunter Biden has a piece of that action. The middleman. We're getting rid of the middleman. We're giving the governors the right, and your governor wanted it, the first one, to go to Canada, where the same exact drug costs 50%. They're going to buy in Florida until the favored nations kicks in, which will be even better. They're going to buy drugs from prescription drugs from Canada at 50% off, and you're going to get the benefit. Think of that. Because we have a long-time system that's corrupt, like so many other things, and hard to break, so we're breaking it by letting them go and buy. And we have various states, but Florida is going to be one of them. You're going to go, you're going to buy them for much less. But ultimately, that'll stop, because the greatest is favored nation. So you will have, and you will be paying, the lowest price. We're going to match the lowest price anywhere in the world. You're the biggest buyer, and that's what it's going to be. Plus, we capped insulin costs for Medicare plans at less than $35 a month. It was much, much higher, many times higher. My people did a great job in that. You know, insulin was driving people out of business, and people were dying because they couldn't afford it. They couldn't do it. And every senior on Medicare will soon be receiving $200 to help with the cost of your medicines. And we got that approved, too. We got a lot approved. Nobody has done what I've done for seniors, that I can tell you. We have a lot of great plans, too. Biden had 47 years to do what I did, but he's owned by the special interests, and he's owned by the drug companies. He's never going to do this stuff. He can't do it. I don't need their money. I don't want their money. I never asked for their money. Who the hell knows? Maybe they gave me something along the line. Sir, you received $400 from Pfizer 7 years ago. But you know what? I couldn't care less. I'm here to do a job. Then I'm going to leave, and I'm going to hopefully you're going to say I was a great president, but that's going to be in 4 years. That'll be in 4 years. Thank you. Thank you very much. Under my leadership, we're delivering a safe vaccine and a rapid recovery. We're doing things with FDA. They're giving us approvals in weeks as opposed to years. It's been incredible. If you vote for me, prosperity will surge, normal life. That's all we want. We want normal life, right? Normal. We don't want anything. We want to be where we were 7 months ago. And next year will be one of the best and greatest years in the history of our country. That's what's happening economically, and that's going to lead to other things. This election is a choice between a Trump recovery and a Biden depression. He gets in, they're going to quadruple your taxes, they're going to take away all of the benefits that I gave you, which turned out to be a lot. You add energy, and it's probably $7,000 or $8,000. Think of that, $7,000 or $8,000 a year. Did you ever see yourself with like $2 gasoline? Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that happening? How about less than $2? And at the same time, we are now energy independent, and we have millions and millions of people working on energy. Millions of people. Millions of people. No, we're very proud of it. We are independent. We don't have to be in the Middle East. We don't have to be. We're there to protect Israel. We're there to help others. But we don't need it anymore. We used to need it. We don't need it anymore because of what we've done. And by the way, the fracking, this guy, he goes around talking about fracking all the time. I mean, think about it. There will be, under no circumstances, there will be no fracking. Then he gets it. He goes to Pennsylvania, and I love Pennsylvania. And he says, oh, wow, they have a lot of jobs here, about 1 million jobs fracking, right? He goes, I got a problem. So he goes, all right, who the hell cares? I've been saying this for 1.5 years, no fracking. Now he gets up, yeah, we'll let you frack, absolutely. We never said that. And the fake news doesn't ever even ask the question. No, I mean, they don't even ask the question. It is true. They don't even ask the question. I mean, this guy goes through a thing last night with Stephanopoulos. I like George, but he did me 2 weeks ago. He did an interview with me, and it was nasty, right? It was nasty. Last night, it was like a sleeper. Everyone's falling asleep. Why don't they ask him the fact that why for 1.5 years did he say there's no fracking? And then the day he gets the nomination, he goes into Pennsylvania. He knows nothing about Pennsylvania, by the way. He likes to say, I was born in Pennsylvania. That's it. And then they left. Maybe they didn't like it. They didn't like it. I love you, too. Look at her. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's very nice. Thank you. But why don't they ask him that? Like, for 1.5 years, there will be no fracking. How about this? I said, oh, the election's over. They said, a lot of these people on the stage, the Democrats, they said, who is going to pay for illegal immigrants' health care? Who agrees to pay it? They all raised their hand. You saw that, right? I said, that's beautiful, but Joe's hand hasn't, but I saw his shoulder. It was moving. Right? Right? Because he knew, his mind isn't so good, so he knows there's something bad going on. He's been doing this for 47 years, so he says, like, I got a problem. I have no idea what the question means, but they're all raising. So he's like this, and then finally he goes this, and I said, I just won the election. That's great. But then they deny it. Then they go and they deny. I've never seen anything, whether it's that or the fracking or other things, they just deny it like it didn't exist. And they get a free pass from our corrupt media. It's a corrupt media. I used to say fake. I used to think that was one of the greatest things that came up. Fake news, right? That was me. But I said, but now I have to go a step further. It's fake and it's corrupt. And a lot of times I leave the fake off because, corrupt is a stage worse. And I'll tell you, and this is true, it's the single, which just about, it causes the problems. It's the enemy of the people. Our media is the enemy of the people. It's very, very dangerous what they do. And you've never seen it more than the last week between the big tech, and they're working on Section 230. You watch what's going to happen. But you've never seen a more egregious case than what's been happening over the last 3 or 4 years. I will deliver optimism, opportunity, and hope. Speaking of hope, Hope Hicks is here. Where's Hope Hicks? Where's Hope Hicks? The great Hope Hicks. You know, she was tested positive, but she's okay. Where's Hope? We want hope, right? We want hope. I used to say, we want hope. And all these crazy people said, yeah, we want it. Where's Hope? Where's Hope? Come here. Come here. Come here, Hope. Come on. She's shy, but not that shy. Come on, Hope. Hey. Hope. We want hope. See? We want hope. 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 We want hope.
We can share a microphone now. Thank you all so much, and thank you, President Trump. I have stage fright, so.
Ah, she's great. So she tested positive and she got better so fast. It was like, that's called being young, strong, right? Young and strong, but she's been fantastic. Thank you, Hope. We're proud of you, Hope. So Biden will deliver pessimism, poverty, and decline, and that's what he's going to do. Look, you know what drives me when I see, he's always criticized, saying, oh, I didn't act fast enough with China, but for 2 months after I did it, he said, I was what, xenophobic? I said, what does that mean? I was xenophobic. What does it mean, Joe? Tell me exactly, please. Give me a definition. He said, I don't know. That's what they told me to say. But you know, 2 months later, he's saying, I shouldn't have done it, right? But now his whole line is, I didn't act fast enough. I did it in January. He's talking about it in February and beyond, late February, beyond, that I shouldn't have done it. Then I did Europe, too, very early. I saw big infections in Spain and Italy. You know, I did Europe. Nobody even talks about it. So we did with over 200,000 people. But remember this, we were expected to lose 2.2 million people and maybe more than that. And our people, whether it's Vice President Pence or all of these people that work so hard on the task force, they've done an incredible job. They've done an incredible job. And when you look at our numbers and when you look at the surge that's taking place right now, and we're going down and Europe is going way up, they used to love to compare us, but we compared very favorably. But now we're making ventilators for Europe and the rest of the world. We're doing things that nobody thought was even possible. So I just want to thank all of the people that worked so hard on that. That's been an amazing, amazing experience. But a guy like Sleepy Joe Biden would terminate our recovery, delay the vaccine, prolong the pandemic, and annihilate Florida's incredible economy. Your economy is starting to boom with a draconian, unscientific lockdown. And you know what happens with the lockdowns, right? You know what happened to people when they're in the lockdowns. Biden's plan will crush America. My plan will crush the virus, and America will be in a position very soon like it was never in before. That's what's happening. This week, even the failing New York Times had no choice but to quote, and they put a statement, probably the writer of the article has been fired since, it's been 3 days. But they said, this is quote, experts are saying with genuine confidence, New York Times, that the pandemic in the United States will be over far sooner than anybody expected. Isn't that nice? That's the New York Times. Can't believe it. I heard that, I said, give it to me again. Let me hear that again, because I don't believe it. Our early and aggressive action saved as many as 2 million, but maybe much more, as we said, maybe much more than that. We pioneered life-saving therapies. Well, here I am. I mean, you know. Here I am. I don't know what the hell they gave me, but I'll take some more of it right now, because I felt... No, I had something Regeneron, great. It really, you know, the antibody things. And Eli Lilly also makes something very similar, and we're having a lot of it produced right now, and we're going to be delivering it, and it's going to be something. But, you know, our fatality rate, 85%, think of it. We have it reduced 80 to 85%, all the way down. So this is what we've done is incredible. We understand what's going on. We understand that 99.9 for young people. Like Barron gets, I said, how you feeling? Not good. How you feeling 2 hours later? I'm feeling great, Dad. It's, you know. Whether we like it or not, they have a little better immune system than we do, right? You know, we don't like to admit it. Let's never admit it, but that's the way it is. You know, Barron's great. Our First Lady is great. People love our First Lady. They love our First Lady. Man, the abuse that she takes, she is a fantastic woman. She loves you. She says love. But they love our First Lady. They love her. And they love our family. How about Ivanka? Do we love Ivanka? Right? And Don and Eric and Tiffany, they all... And they gave up a lot. You know, you don't read that. I lost hundreds of millions, billions of dollars through this. You know, this cost me billions, right? I don't take the salary. It's 450,000. I don't do this. But if an Arab gentleman happens to stay one night in one of my hotels for $642.13, headlines, Trump is ripping off the sun. These people are bad. Billions of dollars I lost by doing this. And you know what? It's the greatest investment I ever made because it's an investment in our country. It's an investment in our country. Thank you. The greatest thing I've ever done. And we are doing things that nobody else would have been able to do. And I'm only doing it because of you. And you know, when you think we're doing it together, but we are the difference between having a great country, and our country's going to be at a level in 2 years, 3 years. We need a little time to seed some of the things we've done. We still have more regulation cutting to do. We've cut more than any other administration in history by far, but we still have more. You know, it used to take 18, 17, 20, 21. It would take years and years, 21 years to get a highway approved. And then usually it didn't get approved. And it would cost hundreds of times more than anticipated. We have that down now to 2 years and probably 1. I mean, things like that. And it may get rejected for environmental or safety reasons. That's okay. But it's going to go quickly. There's no reason. You've seen the charts. I put them up. All the process that you had to go through to get a simple thing done. And now we're building refineries. We're building incredible things, things that were not. If somebody applied for a refinery in the old days, people would laugh at them. They'd say, you never get that approved. If you go to Louisiana, you take a look, in Texas, you take a look at what they're doing in terms of refineries, right? It's incredible. The things we're doing are incredible. And that's all because of us. So this is the greatest thing I've ever done because nobody would be able to do what we as a group have been able to do for our country. So I'm working to make the antibody treatment that I received available to anybody that needs it free because it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. And I view it, I mean, they call it a therapeutic. I view it as a cure because I didn't feel too good. I didn't have a temperature in a lot of years. All of a sudden, sir, you got a little temperature going there. Oh, that's great. And I woke up, and I'm telling you, it was literally the following day. I couldn't get, and Walter Reed Hospital, one of the great, Walter Reed Military Hospital in the world. But I want to thank Johns Hopkins, too. The one thing when you're president and you're not feeling too good, you're laying in bed, there's about 14 doctors surrounding you. Where are you from? Everyone's like a who's who. No, what they did is incredible, and we're making that available to everybody that needs it. I've signed an emergency declaration. We're telling everyone to get it approved. And we want to thank Dr. Hahn at the FDA. They're working very, very hard to get it approved very quickly. We're trying to get things approved in a matter of weeks. It used to take years. That includes other drugs for other things where you'd have many, many years and a person's terminally ill and they go to Asia or they go home. If they had no money, they'd have no choice. They'd go home and they'd die. But we have incredible drugs, but it would take another 4, 5, 6 years. It would take 10 years. We've cut that number down in half, maybe even more than half, for other drugs, cancer drugs, etc. But we have a thing called Right to Try. I talk about it every once in a while. I'm so proud of it. It has had such an incredible impact. Right to Try, it's a great name to me. And it's somebody is terminally ill, and we have a drug that looks really promising, and they're not allowed to use it because they're afraid it's going to make the person sick. I said the person is going to die. But not that easy, because you had the drug companies didn't want to take the liability. You had the country didn't want to take the liability. The drug companies, as an example, they didn't want to have it on their records because somebody's that sick and it looks bad on their records. The person didn't make it. So I said, what we'll do is we'll set up a different sheet. We'll set up a different sheet, and maybe we won't even count it if somebody is so sick. And then, of course, you had the insurance companies. They hated the idea. And we got them in a room. And we had a very strong document that there will be no liability to the country, and you have an absolute right to try. So somebody's terminally ill, you have no idea how many people have been saved by doing this. Some incredible stories. So, I mean, that's one of many, many things. That's one of many, many things. People don't even talk about it, but it's been, it's been just an incredible privilege. Through Operation Warp Speed, we will have 100 million vaccine doses before the end of this year. The vaccine will end the pandemic once and for all. And frankly, I'll say it, and they'll hate this. Well, they'll actually love it. Even without the vaccine, the pandemic's going to end. It's going to run its course. It's going to end. They go crazy. He said without the vaccine. Watch. It'll be a headline tomorrow. These people are crazy. Now it's running its course. We're rounding the turn. You see the numbers. We're rounding the turn. And, this state 3 months ago, you know what happened? 3 months ago, we had a surge here. We had a surge in Texas. We had a surge in Arizona. Great governor of Texas, great governor in Arizona, great people. And you have a great governor here. We had surges, and they went up, and they went down. And now you're at your lowest numbers. And you're open, and you didn't close, and it's just amazing, right? It's great. So we're joined today by one of the greatest governors in our country, and I know a lot of good ones, and I can tell you there's some really bad ones too, but this is a great one, Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, where is he? Thank you, Ron. I heard your speech was great, Ron. I heard you did a great job, but he's done a great job, and he's been my friend. Hey, Ron, are we going to win the state, please? Okay. If we don't win it, I'm blaming the governor. I'll fire him somehow. I'm going to fire him. I will find a way. Anyway, thank you. And members of Congress and friends of mine and warriors, Matt Gaetz, who we said hello to. Matt. Great guy. Great guy. Is this your area a little bit? No, not too much. But they know him. Everybody knows. No, he's a warrior. He's a fighter. Also, Neil Dunn. Where's Neil? Neil, thank you very much. I like your tie, Neil. I like your suit and your tie very much. That's great. And another man who knows so much about the military, I'll call him a lot, Mike Waltz. Mike. He knows so much about the military. Good. The both of them. The both of them. Good. Great job. Thank you. Great to have you, fellow. Congressional candidate Kat Cammack. She's fantastic. Where's Kat? Aren't you like in a Trump 45 or something? Tell me, how many points up?
16.
How much?
16.
Well, that's pretty good. That's a good Trump district, I'll tell you. Kat's going to be there. She's going to win it. That's a great job. And a woman who was in charge of Michigan, you all know her. She was in charge of Michigan. Michigan hadn't been won by a Republican in decades and decades. She was horrendous to me. She kept calling me, please, sir, one more speech. Just come to Michigan. You're going to win it. I said, all right. Finally, toward the end, 4 years ago, I said, you know what? That's it. Okay, I'm leaving. That's it. I'm not coming back for it. That's okay, sir. You don't have to. We're going to win it. I get a call the following day, so you have to come back for one more speech. And I did it. And we won the great state of Michigan, and she was in charge. Head of the Republican Party, now Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. Oh, she's great. She doesn't stop. How are we doing in Michigan, by the way? I heard. Yeah, poll came out. We're up 1 in Michigan. We're doing well. I mean, we should be up 30 in Michigan. We brought many car plants. You know, they hadn't had a plant for 40 years, and we have many of them being built in Michigan. So we're going to do great in Michigan. Today, we're also praying for all of the families on the Florida Panhandle. I love that Panhandle. I don't know what it is. I know it's a little away from here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Hurricane Sally, the Panhandle, you know, we came and we were doing really well in Florida. And then the Panhandle hadn't been counted yet, right, Matt? And we went out and they said, Trump has just won Florida. I said, wait a minute, they haven't even gotten through it. They said, no, the Panhandle was like 94% or something. They said, if Trump is even coming into the Panhandle, there's nobody going to beat Trump. And we won it pretty easily, I'll tell you, but the Panhandle, so we're with the Panhandle 100%. Great people. Last month, I approved a major disaster declaration for the state of Florida, and I'll be with you all the way, and we're doing some rebuilding. You got hit with a lot of storms and a lot of hurricanes, and we're with you all the way. And, you know, when Ron calls up, he's always calling me, oh, sir, we need more money for this hurricane, that hurricane. We need more money for Lake Okeechobee. You don't care about Lake Okeechobee. Lake Okeechobee is pretty far away, but he wants more. But that's what a governor should be doing, right, when you think about it. I can get angry at him. I can say, that's enough. But he's somebody that wants it. And you two senators, by the way, Marco and Rick, they're doing a great job. And they're right now in Washington fighting for our new Supreme Court justice, okay? Marco and Rick. Great people. They're great people. Under my administration, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now we are doing it again. You know what it's called? Make America Great Again again. See all those hats? Make America Great? Make America Great Again again. But I don't want to do it a third time, okay? But we're doing it really nicely. It's coming along at a level that nobody can believe. But these numbers are amazing. In my first 3 years, family income increased by $6,000. 3 years. More than 5 times the gains in all 8 years under the Sleepy Joe / Obama administration. Oh, I got an emergency call today. They say, sir, I'm sorry to tell you, President Obama is going to start campaigning for Sleepy Joe. I said, so what's the problem with that? And they said, well, you know, he's going to start. I said, well, you know, he campaigned harder than Hillary last time, so why do we care? The other thing, he refused to endorse Joe. He knows what's going on up here with Joe. And Obama refused to endorse him. And even after Joe had won, he didn't want to. And then finally, like a long time later, he finally came out and endorsed him. But they called me. They said, you know, Obama's going to start campaigning. I said, is that good or bad? Because I think it's a good thing. Because, you know, they did a lousy job, and I wouldn't be president of the United States if they did a good job. I probably wouldn't have run. And if I did, I probably wouldn't have won, you know. So it's one of those things. They did a lousy job, and that's why I'm your president. African-American income grew 9 times more. Think of that. African-American, and these are numbers that Larry Kudlow given to me right from the book. The great Larry Kudlow. African-American income, think of this, grew 9 times more than it did under Biden and Obama, right? That's a big number. African-American unemployment, Hispanic-American unemployment, and Asian-American unemployment all reached record levels, like levels that nobody's seen. It is amazing when Biden sits and he criticizes you, and then I say, wait a minute, it's not like he left 25 years ago. He left 4 years ago. That's And I say, you know, he's always criticizing. You know, he's not criticizing. He's got guys that write. They write pretty well, too, by the way. He has no idea what he's reading. But he's very critical. And you think, he's been doing this stuff for 47 years. Why didn't he do it before? Why didn't he do it before? We lifted 6.6 million Americans out of poverty. Since the China virus, we have created a record in the history of our country, 11.4 million jobs over just a short period of months. We've already cut the unemployment rate in half, and we're now down to 7.8. And I'll tell you what, I never thought I'd be happy with 7.8. I told you. But when I hear 42%, 38%, it's going to go to a number like nobody in history, I said, we can't let this happen, and we did a hell of a job. Under Biden, it took 30 months to recover more than half of the jobs lost in the crisis. We did it, instead of 30 months, we did it in 5 months. Think of that. Jobs have been recovering 23 times faster than the Obama recovery, which was, by the way, the worst recovery, slowest recovery in the history of our country. Now, they only go back till 1929, so, I don't want to have them say, there was something that happened in 1851, but I don't think. They go back to, I think, 29, all right? Long time. But it's the slowest, the worst recovery. We've stopped businesses from leaving, and factories are pouring back into our country. We've spent the last 4 years reversing the damage Joe Biden inflicted over the last 47 years on NAFTA. We got rid of NAFTA. Did I tell you everyone said you can't do it? You know why you couldn't do it? They said you couldn't do it. You know why? Because it was so good for Mexico, and because it was so good for Canada, they said you'll never pull it off. They have a lot of power in our country, those two countries. I got rid of NAFTA, and now we have the USMCA, which is just kicking in. And the other two countries, we like them both very much, but they're not thrilled. TPP, we wouldn't allow it to happen. That would have destroyed your automobile businesses, right? And China's entry into the World Trade Organization, Joe Biden approved that one, the single worst deal we've ever made, because China was flatlining until that happened, and then they became like a rocket ship. And they are considered, a developing nation. And I said, if they're a developing nation, then we're a developing nation too. Because as a developing nation, you get tremendous bonuses, and it's ridiculous. No more. And by the way, we just won a lawsuit, $7.5 billion. We haven't won a. They're treating us with respect, but we'll find out about the World Trade. And we took ourselves out of the World Health Organization. Is that okay? We took ourselves out of the World Health Organization. Because, frankly, we put up $500 million a year. So we have 325 million people. We put up $500 million of World Health, okay? It's not the biggest thing, but it's a lot. We did $500 million. China, 1.4 billion people. They put up 39 million a year. Other than that, it's a very fair deal, okay? This is the kind of stuff that I see this stuff. I could tell you 100 different stories. It's so stupid and so unfair, so we took ourselves out. They're dying to have us back in. I could go back in for about $3 a year. He screams, don't go back. That's the problem. If I went back for $500,000, right, I'd be criticized. The Democrats would say, what a terrible thing to do. It's incredible. Deal after deal. I could tell you hundreds of stories, but we just take care of it all, and we do it really well. For decades, our politicians spent trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, and defending foreign borders. But now we are finally protecting our nation, rebuilding our cities, and we are bringing our jobs, our factories, and our troops back home to the USA. They're coming back. And we've achieved energy independence, and we've done it while protecting our pristine environment. Right now, we have the best numbers from an environmental standpoint that we've ever had. All this talk, Paris Accord, which was a total ripoff of our country. But all of this talk, we have the best numbers that we've had ever. Now, ever, I always have to preface it, because these people, ever, meaning, let's say over the last 50 years, because, once you get back too far, we had no people, right? You know, I could say the best in over 200 years. Well, you know, 200 years ago, I wouldn't say we had too many factories. I recently signed an order placing a moratorium on offshore drilling off the coast of Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and a place known as Florida. Are you okay with that? You okay with that? You know, the one that wanted it more than anybody else was Florida. Florida didn't want to see sludge coming onto their beaches, so you're not going to have it. So I just signed that up. And so you're all protected, and Matt worked very hard on it. He worked very, very hard on it, and so did your other great people here today, and your governor wanted it very badly, so we got it done. We invested $2.5 trillion in the United States military. We launched the first new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years. It's called the Space Force. I brought back NASA, which is now the #1 space center by far in the world. It was a closed-up mess. And we passed VA choice and VA accountability, and we have now a 91% approval with our vets. Never had anything even close. We beat down ISIS, took 100% of the ISIS caliphate in Syria. You saw that? And Iraq. And when I came in, it was a mess. It was all over the place, and we did it. We have generals that are so incredible. The real generals. I'm talking not the paper generals. We have some of them, too. We have some highly rated, highly overrated generals, and we have some great ones. But these guys were unbelievable. We took 100%. Remember, I said, all right, we're coming home. We got 99%. They said, no, the paper. They said, we want 100%. I said, we're at 99. I want to bring them home. No, we want 100. So I stayed for another couple of weeks, and we took 100%. And we killed the leader of ISIS, who's killed so many people, al-Baghdadi. Right? And we took out the world's #1 terrorist and the #1 mass murderer, probably, well, for a long time. Killed many American troops, killed many people. Qasem Soleimani is dead. He's dead. One of the biggest things ever to happen in the Middle East. People couldn't even believe it. And I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous $150 billion, $1.8 billion in cash, disastrous Iran nuclear deal. And you know what? When we win, the first call I'm going to get, and I'm not doing this as anything, and I'm not trying to taunt anybody, but because it makes sense. Their economy has gone to hell with our sanctions and everything I've done. When we win, the first call I'm going to get is a call from Iran. Let's make a deal. And I'm going to get calls from other countries. They all want to make a deal. I said, let's see, you know, because their dream is that Sleepy Joe wins. Because if Sleepy Joe wins, China will own the United States. If Sleepy Joe wins, Iran will make another crazy deal where we pay him a fortune for nothing. We got nothing in that deal. That was a John Kerry incompetent deal. And the only time he got up, instead of walking away, was to go to a bicycle race. Remember that? 73 years old. And that's when I pledged I will never, ever enter a bicycle race. And he fell and he broke his leg and his shoulder or something. But at least it forced him away from the table. I thought maybe we got lucky. I kept my promise, recognized the true capital of Israel, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. They've been talking about that for 52 years. They'd fly in, fly out. 52 years. I got it done in about 2 hours. And instead of the endless war, we are forging peace in the Middle East. In fact, I got 3 Nobel Peace Prize nominations. Only one for the Middle East. Only one for the Middle East. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But, you know, I tell you, because they don't cover it. When Obama got it, he just said, what did I do? He had no idea what he did. And they made it a big story. When I got it, I did a good job. Kosovo, Serbia, you know, they were killing each other for many years, killing lots of people. It was like just they fight for years and decades and centuries, and they just fight. And we're making these trade deals. I said, wait a minute, well, we're making the deals. Let's put these two countries together. Let's save a lot of lives. And it was easy because, you know, we have all the cards. We have the money. We have the trade. We got them together. We made wonderful deals for our country, but as part of the deal, we got them together, economically together. Isn't that good, right? Nobody can believe it, but that's the way you do it. I did more in 47 months than Joe Biden did in 47 years, and it's true. But now the Democrats are pushing the most far-left agenda ever put forward by a presidential nominee. You know, it's an amazing thing. This is the weakest presidential. Oh. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead. 100-year-old veteran right here. Wow. God, he looks beautiful. 100, huh? Looks better than I do. 100, that's great. What's your name? Well, I want to thank you very much, and he does not need Regeneron, okay? That I can tell you. You look fantastic, so sit down and enjoy it, okay? What a beautiful guy. 100, you look beautiful. Thank you, congratulations. That's nice, great, I'm glad you pointed it out. The Biden plan would destroy Social Security, destroy protections for pre-existing conditions, you know that. Biden vowed to terminate our travel bans on jihadist regions. He wants to get rid of the travel. You know, I won the travel ban, right? So that countries that hate us, countries that want to hurt us, they can't send their people. Somehow that makes a little sense. 105? Come on, that's beautiful. Wow, 105. Wow. 105. So he went through what? How many? Two? How many wars? 2 wars? Well, he looks good, I'll tell you. That's great. Congratulations. You look beautiful. He's got a better head of hair than I do. I like your hair better than mine. Look at that guy. 105, and he's got better hair than the president. Good. Enjoy it. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. 100 and 105. Beautiful. Thank you very much. So they want to surge refugee admissions by 700%. This was agreed to with Crazy Bernie, opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorism. We're not doing it. He'll ban school choice, which we have to have. So important. They want to end charter schools. You know why? Because he's controlled by certain people. You know who the people are? And I say it with hesitation because I have tremendous respect for teachers, okay? Tremendous respect. I love teachers. And he wants to end your Florida Opportunity Scholarships. In the second term, I will provide school choice to every parent in America. We're already started. A vote for Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, and a limitless future for all Americans. It's very simple. It's really a vote for the American dream. That's what it is. Like these two guys, 100 and 105. Look at them. Great going. Great. That's beautiful. A lot of spirit. Hey, do we have spirit or what? Yeah. Well, that's one thing even the fake news admits. Our level of enthusiasm, the Trump, whatever the hell you want to call us, the group, is off the charts. I believe it's the highest in the history of elections, but it's the highest in history. And his level of enthusiasm is called non-existent. It's non-existent. There is no enthusiasm. You go through the communities, there's signs on every Trump Pence, Trump Pence, Trump Pence. I mean, you have to see it. It's like unbelievable. You don't see Biden stuff. You don't see it. We have the greatest level of enthusiasm, they say, I don't know, that they've ever recorded. And by the way, one other thing. Gallup came out with a poll the other day. You saw it, right? 56% of the people in a pandemic are better off now than they were under the Obama or Biden. And it's the best number, I think they said, ever recorded. And we're in a pandemic. It's not anybody's fault, but we're in a pandemic. 56. There's another one that's even more interesting. 62% of the people polled, this was Gallup, I think, 62% of the people polled, right, said they're lying. If that's the case, we're going to have the greatest landslide in history. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if I should be honored by it, but we'll take it. I probably shouldn't be talking about it, but we'll take it. No, did you see that one? 62% of the, because they don't want to be bothered. Just leave me alone. We'll vote for Biden. Who the hell cares? But then they go. I can tell you a lot of people vote for us that you have no idea because they want low taxes. They want a strong military. They want a lot of things that we're doing. Over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China once and for all, which we're already doing. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. Thank you. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms, your Second Amendment. We will strike down terrorists who threaten our citizens, and we will keep America out of the endless, horrible, ridiculous foreign wars. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength, and that's what we have. We have now the greatest equipment any country has ever possessed, the greatest in the world, all made in the USA, by the way. We've restocked, we've rebuilt, we have the greatest fighter jets, missiles, rockets, ships. We have the greatest military ever. Russia, China, everybody is envious. They know. Everybody is envious. We have the hypersonic missiles that you used to hear about. We didn't have them because other countries were stealing our plans from the Obama administration. But we now have hypersonic missiles. We have the greatest military ever. And we did it very, very quickly. And I only hope to God, you know, our whole nuclear arsenal has been redone. Hope to God we never have to use it. But the fact that we are so strong, when I came here, you heard the story. One of the generals, most highly overrated general I've ever met, actually, he said, "Sir, we have no ammunition." I said, "No president should ever have to hear that. We have no ammunition." Now we have so much ammunition, we don't know what the hell to do with it. All made in the USA. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, already signed, and it kicks in on January 1st, and further reduce the cost of prescription drugs. We will strongly protect Medicare and Social Security, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. Please remember. And we got rid of the individual mandate from Obamacare, which was a disaster. And if we can end Obamacare, we'll end up with a much better health care at a much lower cost with protection for people with pre-existing conditions. So we'll see how that all works out. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars, our space center, NASA. By the way, is that a beautiful sight? Look at that plane. I mean, I hate to tell you, but I have the exact same plane at home. It's true. The exact same plane. Except it's a different company that made the engines. I think those are Pratt & Whitney, and I have Rolls-Royce. I'm sorry. No, I have the exact same plane, but that is one of the most beautiful planes. 757, one of the most beautiful planes in the world. That's the smaller version of Air Force One, you know that. See, I'm trying to save a couple of bucks for the contract. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And by the way, you see what's happening with all these sports leagues that don't respect our country, right? They're going down the tubes. Their ratings are down. The NBA's down 70%. Because you know what? People don't want to hear it. They want to watch sports. They've got enough politics. They don't want to hear it. So you know what? It's too bad, but that's the way it is. Stand proud for our flag and stand proud for our anthem, right? And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Florida, right? So get your friends, get your family, get your co-workers, get everybody. Even if you have a boss, get the boss and say, "Boss, I'm going to rip you out of your office. We're going to go and we're going to vote." Go vote. It's the most important election in our history. This is more important than 4 years ago. Most important election in our history. Early voting starts on Monday, so remember. And keep your eyes open when you watch these ballots coming in. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you. Go out and vote. Send in your absentee ballots if you want to do it that way, but make sure it counts. From Tampa to Tallahassee, from Pensacola to Miami, and from Jacksonville to right here in Ocala. I love Ocala. I love this place. I love horses, right? You like horses around here, right? A lot of friends who live here. We inherit the legacy of Florida patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, dug out the Panama Canal, raised up the giant skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and from here in this beautiful, wonderful state with that fabulous sun, landed our brave American astronauts on the face of the moon, right? We made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. It's coming fast. Proud citizens like you helped build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. That's happening now. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Florida, we have made America wealthy again. We have made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Get out and vote.